The Do This podcast is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network. Join real estate experts Chad Hyams and Matt Chase as they dive into effective real estate practices and tools with insights from Chase's 20-year career and his success with Brivity. Learn the significance of disciplined execution, the day-in-the-life approach, and the power of consistent daily routines. The episode emphasizes leveraging effective systems, consistency, and simple strategies to achieve high performance in the competitive real estate market. We hope you enjoy this Do This podcast episode presented by Brivity.
Hey everybody, sorry about that. We're a few moments late. Hopefully you're still here with us. Heck, if you're watching this in a recording later, you didn't even realize we got here a few moments late. Why? Because Bob Stewart's on an airplane. That's right. He does that to us. We got a text about 43 minutes ago that he went, I'm on an airplane, guys. So Matt, Chad, it's just us and all of you people who are here with us or watching this and recording. Really excited for this episode of Do This for two reasons. One, it's Matt Chase, right? And two, there's no Bob, right? I love when I get the no Bob calls now and then, because it really lets me dive in where I want and not have to let Bob ask some questions every now and then. So we're going to have some fun with this one as we go. Matt, welcome. Thanks for being here for everybody.
Of course.
I know who you are, but they might not. So would you do me a favor and introduce yourself? Let everyone know who you are, where you are, and what brought you here.
All right. So I am a real estate agent out of the west side of Cleveland. We have a team that's got about 14 agents. We did about 250 transactions last year, and I've been in real estate my entire professional life, so almost about 20 years now.
Your entire professional life. I like the way you put that, right? As soon as I got a job, it's been real estate. I didn't get all those fun jobs that other people had along the way, which, well, many of us
This was the fun job. This is the one I wanted.
There you go. You knew it. What was it that maybe, let's just start there. What was it that you knew that said, this is the job I want, I'm going to go make this happen?
We could talk about that forever, but I think just the long short of it is that I didn't like the other jobs, like when they said, hey, go to college and then like go figure something out. I didn't like the accountant or, whatever, the engineer, whatever it is that people do. And, this just seemed, I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad at an early age. And I told my dad, hey, I want to buy houses. And he said, well, you need money for that. And so I said, okay, well, I'll go sell some first and then figure out how to buy some.
And how many do you own now?
70.
If I can ask.
70 homes. Well, 70 doors.
So. 70 doors out there, folks, that Matt has built up just by reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad at the right age. Folks, give it to your kids.
Currently, we have a book club on our team. I'm reading Debt Millionaire. So
there you go, right?
We're training all the
not stop learning.
That's
learning
right.
And learning. Matt, I'm going to teach you something today. Next time you're on a webinar, I want you to sit 5 inches to your right or 5 inches to your left so we get your cool logo over your shoulder there. There you go, as part of sitting there so people all day.
The problem is the way this whole office is set up, like I'm in the center of my desk and then that's in the center of my room.
Sit off center. Sit off center. There you go. It's perfect. It's beautiful. All right. So, folks, we're here with Matt. You now heard a little bit about him, right? That he got into it from day one, right? He said, forget that college thing, forget that accountant thing, forget all those jobs where I work for somebody thing. He had read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, knew what he wanted to do to be able to make money, to buy doors as he created his own future and his own path and his own opportunities for himself, got into the industry, figured might as well learn it from the inside, and here he went. Matt, if you could go back 20 years, now I know time is different, right? So house buying is a little different stuff, but general, other than I should have had Brivity on day one, it wasn't there 20 years ago, right? So what would you tell yourself, for anybody who's listening to this that's new, that you wish you knew then?
Man, I mean, the biggest lesson I've learned in the past couple of years is spend money for good operations people. So I mean that's a thing that I didn't do, until a couple of years ago. So we would have had a much larger team, if I would have been willing to make those type of investments, um, and probably use a good CRM. I mean, I know this is a Brivity call, right? I remember, I mean, I worked or as a buyer's agent on someone's team when I first started, and this was 2007, and he handed me stacks of paper that had people who had registered on either Craigslist or sign calls or whatever, and that was my CRM back then, right? So use it. You don't know how lucky you are to have it.
That's right. Whatever it is, from top producer that we all had, which was the go-to back then, stacks of paper, whatever it is, all the way up to the powerful tools like Brivity that we have now. Okay, give me one thing about Brivity, right? That everybody here, maybe they're using, maybe they're not using. Yet as we're talking CRM, let's just hit Brivity right off the bat here. What's the secret to Brivity and your success?
I mean, there's so many things because obviously we're using it for our transaction management as well, which is something a lot. We had Commission Inc. for many, many years before switching to Brivity a couple years ago, and it didn't do those things. So, just use it for everything that it's capable of using, number one. But I mean, I think as it relates to prospecting and making money, our biggest thing is the day in the life. I mean, our agents are following that thing every single day without deviation. And if you do that, you're going to sell houses.
So maybe somebody doesn't know what a day in the life is. Break it down for us. Take us through what a day in the life is.
So, I mean, we have a special cheat sheet because it's in our dot place thing, but it's a method for following up with leads that come into Brivity, right? And I'm going to butcher it because I don't actually, you put me on the spot here, but
I do that.
follow up with your new leads, right?
Yep.
And if you talk to somebody, then categorize them hot, nurture, or watch based on where that conversation went. And if you do not talk to them, leave them in unqualified status until you do talk to them, right? And so, the way we use that is essentially you get a new lead and you don't talk to them. We want to practice the 10 days of pain. We want you to call that person 3 times the first day and then once for the next 9 days. And if you don't get a hold of them in that point, then throw it into our pond. So we have a pond set up and, we'll monitor it from there. And the day in the life also covers that once you filter through your new leads, every single day, go to the pond where all the discarded leads or the leads we just weren't able to get a hold of in the first 10 days lie and check them for activity. Did they come back to the site? Did they look at a market report? Whatever it might be, check what their activity is and see if you can get a hold of them based on that.
So what you're basically saying is your team has a routine that they follow that's going to quickly filter out the leads because everybody wants to say, oh, internet leads all suck. They're going to find the ones that don't because they're doing the job for it. And then they're going to continue to nurse even the sucky leads because they don't really suck. They just suck right now, maybe in that situation, that you've got a strategy and a system for your people to follow each and every day.
That's it.
Okay.
But I think too many people say that they suck, right? Well, they suck because you're not following a system, right? Like who knows? And then you got a hold of the person and they yelled at you. Who knows what happened in their world that day, right? We don't know. Maybe they just got fired or their dog just ran away. I don't know. We're going to call them again tomorrow.
There you go. It's excellent. All right. One of the things that I saw in a few notes that that David Wiggs sent me before our call, he said, here's the promo for Matt today, just so you know what, we told everyone you're apparently going to talk about. I never followed that. But it says one of the things in here is that you said disciplined execution makes the difference and you should set a new floor for your business in growth. Talk to me about disciplined execution.
Well, I mean, I think disciplined execution is that day in the life, right? Like having a strategy of how you're going to attack these leads. And then on top of that, we use a pretty strict business planning where we have metrics as far as like if you do open houses, how many open houses do you need to do to have a transaction? And if you put your sphere of influence into Brivity, how many times do you need to touch those people, or what should you do to have a transaction? And if you make phone calls, how many phone calls do you need to make to have a transaction? And then when you make the phone calls, what type? Are we calling leads that have registered in Brivity? Are we calling expireds for sale by owners? And I think, the Brivity ties all this stuff together. We make sure that even the experienced agent on our team who wants to focus primarily on their sphere, okay, fine, if that's what you want to do, let's make sure though that you have an address, an email, and a correct phone number for every single one of your sphere. And let's make sure that they're getting a market report every 2 weeks. Let's make sure that you're monitoring that activity. So just nothing lives outside of this, even if it's not an IDX or Brivity generated lead.
Okay. I've heard the last few episodes that Bob and I have done of this, and folks, we do these every week for you. So if you're not catching this or didn't realize, every week we're doing these, and we're doing them live at, let's see, I gotta do math on the hours, right? It's 1:30 Eastern. I think that's 10:30 out there in 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 10:30 Pacific.
Never get
and then
that
you got to
right.
do the math in the middle, right? So what time is it where you are, Matt?
1:43.
Right. Okay. So you're right, because you're East Coast like I am. We don't do, you got to figure out your own math, everybody, what time zone. But we do these, and then of course they're always posted there waiting for you. But the message I've heard over the last few episodes again and again and again is the term standards. And it's a favorite term of mine, other than a day in the life. What standards have you set for your team and the people who come join your world to lead them towards success?
Well, so I mean, simple standards, and then I'll go into like what I do on my one-on-ones. But simple standards is we have a power up every morning at 8:45 for our real estate team. And the first thing we talk about is good news, just proof of concept for the 14 people that are on the team that, hey, this person yesterday went on an appointment here, and here's how they found the appointment, and here's how it's going, and just anything to talk about as far as what business is being conducted. And then that obviously is a way to, hey, I've got an upcoming listing, and someone says, wow, I'd love to hold an open house there. So it's just to get the day in motion. And then we certain days we look at our call stats in Brivity. Hey, this person's up here, they made 1,000 calls this week, this person made two. Does this person who made two, are they going to commit to coming in this week and maybe making some more? We look at our team stats, how many homes are pending, how many have we closed, what's our average commission, just that type of stuff. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We do that at 8:45, lasts about 15 minutes. On Wednesdays, we do a book club when that call is over, which is why I held this up earlier. That's what everybody is reading right now. And then, for me, so you asked like things I would do differently early on. I hired a director of sales way too early, about 5 years ago, and ended up firing him. And I said, okay, that was on me. I'm the director of sales now until we get to $2.5 million in GCI, which we've been at, 2 to 2.1 for the past couple of years. So we're not there yet. But so I'm doing the one-on-ones right now. That was my commitment to the team and to myself. And so everybody on the team, we just do a quick 15-minute one-on-one twice a month. And so my first one-on-one that I have with people is a Brivity review.
Okay, hang on the one-on-ones, because I know you've got a heck of a system. I want everyone to hear what Matt was saying, and many of our guests have said they start their day with a power up, right? And the power up in your case, Matt, I heard is it's a positive start to the day. It's a tell me something good type moment, the proof of concept that this stuff's working. It's sharing some of the new properties that are coming within your organization. Folks, if you're not on a team, go grab 5, 6, 7 agents from your brokerage. Go grab 5, 6, 7 agents from your town. Go meet at a Starbucks every morning at 8:45 and do a power up. Create that opportunity, because there's so many solo agents out there or newer agents. You're just lost, right? Go create that opportunity. Do you do script practice in your power up as well? We hear that from a lot of people that they do script stuff.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
So I mean, but again, we're only, we try to keep it 15 minutes a day. So it just may be a quick, hey, this random agent, read me this script that we have, because since we're part of Place, we get a predetermined power up or slide deck every Monday, right? And so it's kind of a cheat. But yeah, I ask, there's for every part of that power up, there's a script at the end. So yeah, we do very brief script and role play, and we discuss, hey, how did you think that script was? Anything you would add to that? What are your experiences? So yeah.
Okay, Matt is a D, I'm guessing, on the disc profile. Would I be correct?
Yes, you are correct. I don't know how you know.
Yeah, you said think. That's how I knew, because D's and C's say think, and I didn't have you as a C yet. Okay, we're going to go on with some of those things that are in there. Obviously, you got your day in the life. One of the things I've been told about is that you have a once every 14-day coaching rhythm with your people, these one-on-one coaching opportunities. I want to hear more about that. Being a coach myself, I obviously want to hear more about that. Yet, what does that look like on your team, and how does that lead them to success?
So, like I said, they alternate. One per month is a Brivity review. The second one per month is a goal review. So everyone, we get together the
half hour
of the year, set goals for the next year, right? And that's based on a couple different metrics, which I won't go into. But when we do the goal review, I say, okay, you committed when we did this to 40 transactions this year, and I have a seasonality calculator in front of me during this meeting. Nice. And I say, okay, we're April, right? Like there's probably no more contracts that are going to be written in April to close in April. They're going to be closing in May. So at this point, you're however many percent done with the year. And so based on the calculations I see here, you're either going to have to, well, either you've made it awesome, like great job, or are we going to decrease your goal, which nobody wants to do? Or are you going to commit to, these are the ways, you said you do this many open houses, you talk to this many sphere, you'd call this many people in Brivity. Are we going to double those efforts here for the next 30 days so that when we meet again, we don't have to lower that goal?
Simple conversation. How long does the coaching session last?
That particular one, 15 minutes.
That's it, right? It's in, let's hit it, let's go. And you do a Brivity review to say, here's what we see, your dials, your conversion rates, all the other stuff that you're tracking that Brivity does for you.
Yeah, so the Brivity is the second one I do. And so we just look at, I have a checklist that I printed out. And so I just go through and say, do you have any overdue tasks? Are your hots actually hot? Like, let's quickly go through each one of your hots, and I want you to tell me about them. Yep. And if you're selling less than 24 houses a year, you should have no more than 10 hots. If you're selling more than 24 homes a year, you could have up to 20 hots, but I don't want to see somebody have 0, because what are you doing? And I don't want to see somebody have 50, because you're not going to sell 50 houses in the next 30 days, right?
Yeah, that's a great thing. I mean, right? Everybody wants to make everything hot because we all want to be optimists, and they're all going to buy something. So we just make them hot. When you tell them, hey, go figure out who your 10 or your 20 maximum hot are. Now I'm really looking at the ones that are truly the hot, and I'm saying, okay, I want that one to be hot, but it's probably a warm. I probably still have to do some work or know they're going to be long-term. That's a nice little steal, everybody, right? Don't just put hots, put a limit on how many hots you allow yourself.
And if you have it in there, explain to me why it's hot. Like let's figure out how we're going to close this thing. Let's figure out what's missing, what's the missing link here to get them to list or to get them to go under contract on the buy side.
Okay. I'm going to go back and then I'm going to go forward. First, I'm going to go back. One of the requests was, can you hold the book up again? Right. I put the title in the chat for everybody. So
Debt Millionaire by George Antone.
Okay. And tell us one takeaway from the book so far. Give me one aha so far from the book.
Well, we just started this one, but this is actually like the third time I've read it. But this book is just that it's okay to have debt as long as that debt is used for an investment instrument like real estate, right?
There you go.
Don't have credit card debt, don't have car debt, don't have consumer debt, but debt is not a bad word. So flip your thinking on that.
There you go.
This one's
Excellent.
about. And then he actually has 3 books in this series for anybody who's interested. So he's got this one. He's got one that I have back here called Wealthy Code, and then he has one called Banker's Code. So if anybody really wants to get into this, all 3 are excellent.
There you go. Debt Millionaire, it's waiting for you. Now I'm going to come back to the real estate piece of it. One of the things I noticed, David dropped it in the chat to bring it back to my attention. He mentioned earlier, you have a brand new agent that he says, the wording he used, because David's very polite and very respectful and stuff, he says they're pace setting the team. I would say it sounds like they're kicking everybody else's butt, right? Yeah. And I probably wouldn't have normally said it even that nicely. How is a brand new agent pace setting, to use David's term, your team when you've got, I think you said 14. So if I take you out of that, counting you as well, there's at least 10 other producing agents and some of them veterans. How's this new agent doing it?
Brivity. So this new agent is probably a cheat.
I'll drop the agent's name. Come on, they might be listening.
Yeah, right.
They know they're them.
Jeremy is the guy we're talking about.
All
so
right.
He is a veteran salesperson, so is the caveat to this story. So he was in the medical sales industry for the past 30 years. Okay. And his son, who was in his late 20s, wanted to get into real estate. And dad said, well, hey, he retired young. And he said, hey, that sounds fun. I'll do it with you. And so when I met him, he said, I'm going to try something. And I said, what? He's like, I don't want to do open houses. I don't want to call people I know. I just want to work in the database that we talked about during the recruiting process. And that's all I want to do. And I said, great.
Okay, wait a minute. He said, I don't even want to call my sphere. He had a sphere, obviously, if he's been in medical industry sales and he's
different states,
got a grown son, he's known people. He just said, if anything comes from that, it comes by accident. I want to focus on this other stuff.
Yep.
Where everybody's always like, I don't want to call strangers. I want to call these people all day long. Okay.
And that's what he says. He's got a desk here in the office. He says, I like your office. I'm going to come in. I love making phone calls, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to see how many houses I can sell. And I mean, he's closed. I mean, like I said, he's a veteran sales professional, but he's only been licensed for 6 months. So he's closed, I think, 5 so far. And he's got 8 that are going into pending here in the next 30 days.
So 13 in his first 6 months is basically, we'll say maybe 7, 8 months by the time some of those get where they're going. But he's more than 1 a month. He's got some sales experience, so he knows how to close, but he didn't know real estate. And now he's just picking up the phone, calling. I don't want to call them cold leads. They're not cold leads. They're not hot leads, right? But he's just calling into that pond and saying, at one time you came to our website, and he's converted enough business out of that to average more than 1 deal a month.
Yep. And and every time the features of the site work, he always tells me about it. So like the other day, he was like, hey, you're not going to believe this, but there was a lead that I had talked to him. It didn't go favorably, this, that, and the other. Oh, actually, he said they're going to buy in a year. And he's like, I believed him, this and that. And he said, this was like 2 weeks ago when the guy said it, and Brivity gave him an alert that, hey, this guy looked at like 3 properties in a row. And he's like, I called him, and he was like, oh yeah, I actually kind of changed my mind and I want to go look at houses right now. And he got him under contract. He's like, if it didn't send him that 3 property alert, he probably never would have called the guy, because he put a reminder to call him in like 3 months.
Folks, lesson 1, they're always lying to you.
Right.
They're always lying. You should cut their timeline in half, because if they tell you it's a year, it's probably 6 months. If they tell you 6 months, it's probably in the next 3. Something might trigger that. And by using the tools of going into the stuff you were talking about on the day in the life that says, go back, see who's come to the site lately. He saw that guy had returned to the site. So he picked up the phone, and the guy who the call had gone poorly with was now ready to have the conversation with Jeremy.
Yep.
Folks, the tools work. Use them.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, that's the.
Those are the conversations him and I have every day, right? It's just the tools work. We can't understand why everyone's not doing this.
Yeah, I'm curious. Folks, if you're on this live, go into the chat box and tell me what's your excuse for not using the tools that are there. Now, I know as I say that, Matt, no one's typing anything. I don't have to look into the chat box because no one's going to type their excuse because it's an excuse that you're making up, right? It's not some good reason. All I'm going to get are people that say, I do it, I swear, right? And if you did, you'd have the results. Now, with Jeremy doing this, and big shout out to Jeremy, with Jeremy doing that, what has that done to the rest of the team?
I mean, that's everyone takes note, right? You know, the new guy is getting transactions, the new guy is getting consistent business. Maybe we should probably try some of this too.
Okay. And you said his son joined. Like the reason he joined was his son wanted to get into it. His dad said, I'll do this with you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They both on, is he on the team too, or is like the son in a different town?
No, he's here too.
Okay. So how's he letting dad kick his ass? What's going on there?
Well, we're getting there.
Okay.
Little bit of consistency, but we're getting there.
All right. So, hey, however I can help, you let me talk to the son. So I'm all for the older that we get better. And Jeremy seems to have a handle on it. Let's give Jeremy a run for his money. All right, Matt, I just close this out for me. I don't care if you repeat something that you've already said. I don't care if there was a question you wished I asked you that I didn't ask you because you really wanted to mention blank, whatever it is. Wrap this session up for us while Bob is on a flight to Hawaii. Aloha, Mr. Stewart. What's the last message you want to give to the people who are truly here?
I mean, just consistency, right? Like you don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the hardest working, I guess, right? Like you just got to show up. And, we've kind of revamped everything over the past couple of years and just made it consistent, and consistency can be simple, just tried to make it good. Because if you overcomplicate it, then you're not going to be consistent because you're always right. Like you're always getting ahead of it or overthinking it, whatever the case may be, which I'm guilty of doing in the past. So I feel like, just everything that we described, just the daily rhythm, following the day in the life, categorizing things appropriately in the system, it sorts itself out.
Yeah, Ben Kinney has said many times we overcomplicate things to justify our inactions.
Yeah.
Right, folks, keep it simple, stupid. Right? KISS. We've all heard the acronym. Keep it simple. Brivity does that for you. Follow the day in the life plan. Matt, really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with me today. I'm telling you, adjust the desk 6 inches to the right. Get that logo out there for everybody. Give Jeremy a big congratulations on behalf of all of us here in the Brivity family. Folks, you know where to find these. Check these out. Share these. Bring others and say, man, you should have heard the message we got right here. And share these episodes with people as well. Matt, we appreciate you. Bob, aloha, my friend. We'll see you and everybody next week. I don't know who the guest is, but they're going to give us something that we should be doing. See you then, folks.